back. My name is Marie Major, and in this video I want to talk about the lunar eclipse that is coming up and the connection with the Stargates. Well, honestly, when I tap into it, it's like the lunar eclipse and the Stargates are holding hands right now. That is the energy, that is the frequency. And if you are like me and this eclipse has not been easy on you, I really hope you give yourself some time, some deep breaths, some understanding that you are not alone in this, and it is very difficult. I'm just making sure my mic's on. That it is very difficult right now what is happening in the cosmos, in the universe. And you know, I wanted to film actually about Stargate 5 Egypt because I was very called to speak about that. I believe it is the communication of what is happening from the stars, from the cosmos. Like, that's our direct line of language, of like communication, I should say. Communication. It is like, even if it's not a language, it could be like a humming, it could be a feeling, it's a frequency, it could be a sound, like it could be different for all souls. But that is the direct connection, Stargate 5 Giza, the pyramids, because that is everything. And it is the exact connection where these pyramids, the Egyptians, the Anunnaki, the Pleiadians, other lineages, other earthbound beings, were, I believe, the Dogon civilization, all of that were ones that were tapping in and working to build the beautiful pyramids. They were the architects behind it. It was not just human souls, but there was also many actual star gods like the Anunnaki coming to help with that. And this all goes back to the pyramids being aligned with the star Sirius, which is our direct connection with the cosmos. Like, the star Sirius has such a profound role on planet Earth, and I feel like that's why so many souls are called to Egypt. So many people believe they have a past life in Egypt. I remember, like, my great aunt from Hungary said to me, she always was like, I know I was Egyptian at one point. Like, she constantly said that. And a book I'm reading called Integration by, I'm forgetting her name, Elizabeth something, I think. But it's a book I think she wrote in like maybe the 90s or 80s. I don't know, maybe the 70s. I have to see on that. But anyway, she's speaking about her son who wrote all this stuff about his past lives in Africa and not knowing, because this was like in the early 50s or maybe late 40s, something like that, or maybe 40s, I don't know, where there was no actual like, you know, film or telly going on or like any of that where he was tapping into, because they weren't living like a life of, I don't know. Well, she grew up in Hungary because this writer was Hungarian, but her story's so interesting. You should just go get the book because it's such a good book. But I'm at the part where also she starts channeling in her past lives in Egypt and also during Atlantis times. So this is the energy that's really so powerful. You can't make this stuff up. So my goal was to talk about this, but I just was on my phone right now and I looked and I saw that there's been a massive flood in Tibet and Nepal, which is the Himalayas, right by Himalayas, and that to me is Stargate 8. And it's really hard to understand or try to make sense or try to be hopeful when so many tragedies are happening on planet Earth. And I almost feel in a way like, okay, is this even helping showing up, filming content, trying to understand, trying to help people, you know, connect with the universe. This also helps me because I know this is a journey. It's not just once you get it, it's a college degree and then it's done with. No, it is a journey. It's a process. It's deepening, it's expanding, it's evolving. I believe that we are at a meeting ground on planet Earth working. Many souls are working for the greater good, or all souls are. Some might get lost in the way and forget, and deeply forget, and that's where kind of the energy of evilness takes place and the energy of fear. But when it's such a mother nature, such a natural disaster, there are no words, because it's almost like, how can God, how can Creator, how can Source, how can Mother Gaia do this? And also a lot of though tragedies, like I think a lot of also tragic events are planned, nature events planned by humans, and that's a whole nother discussion. But I also do believe, and I really want people after watching this video to please go pray, do a meditation on Stargate 8, the Himalayas, pray for the people of Tibet and Nepal, and hold them in your hearts and send your loving energy, because these are people who are losing everything. And we keep hearing about all these tragic events, these earthquakes, these floods, these fires, but it's not even just that. There's wars, there's a political war, there's a spiritual war, there's a war between race, there's a war between the divide. It is completely, the wound of separation is really coming up at the surface, and the universe is asking us, like, how are we going to heal this wound? Are we going to heal it together as a collective? Are we going to try to heal mankind? Are we going to try to treat each other better? Are we going to try to show up for one another? Are we going to try to love and respect Mother Nature? But this is a really tough thing, and I don't say this lightly. I really do not say this lightly. I just try to show up and give people a little bit of hope, because it is really tough times right now. And I know with the eclipse, there's a lot of people I know who are also going through personal struggles. And personally, me too, this eclipse has been difficult. It has not been easy. This last year has been a challenging year, but I feel like we have all been very challenged. We have been put into these loops, these hoops. We've been kind of jumping through so much, but it's kind of the universe is asking us, how much are we gonna surrender and trust? How much are we going to keep showing up and do the right thing? You know, like, I personally did not want to film this video because I feel kind of depressed and sad with everything that's happening, but I'm like, no, we need to keep speaking, we need to keep connecting, we need to keep building communities where we are holding each other's love for one another and holding space for one another. I think that is just so important. And you know, I filmed something about Dolly the other day because Dolly just passed away, and I was surprised to find out that she passed, because I thought she would live for a long time. To me, 80 is very young. That's a very young age to you know, to move on to the other realm, to move to the other side. And I kept asking, and I did an energy reading on her, and because I only do energy readings if it's a soul who's passed, or if I am doing a reading with a client and I'm getting permission to read their energy. So that's the only energy reading I'll do. I don't even would not look into other energy readings of people who are still living, because I feel like that is actually just not spiritually correct. It just seems off. But I just want to say, when Dolly passed, and I know I kind of rubbed people the wrong way with this video I filmed, because some people were upset and were like, don't bring political stuff, or don't bring other souls who have passed and there's no justice on their lives, or don't bring the wild horses, or don't bring black people up into this subject, and Palestine and Congo and Sudan. And I was like, when I read Dolly's energy, the energy was very much about her making a sacrifice, because some souls sacrifice for the greater good of the collective in certain timelines. And I'm not saying I'm right, this is what I read in her energy. And she was a Pleiadian starseed, she was an earthbound being, she lived many, many times, she was a very old soul. And this lifetime was very specific. I got confirmation that that was her last incarnation on planet Earth for now, because she needs to hold an energy in the cosmos. And oh my god, the sky right now looks just beautiful. But wait, let me show you guys. Do you just see the sunlight? Like, it just, like, that light just popped up when I said that. So, but anyways, what was I saying? She was Pleiadian, so her main lineage was Pleiadian, which makes a lot of sense, because Pleiadian starseeds are healers. They're heart-centered. They usually channel their soul's mission into some artistry, some like art form, like music, acting, writing, poets, painters, any form of art. That's kind of what a Pleiadian is here to do, and they're here to channel their soul's mission for planet Earth. And she had a major mission, and she really was an example where she kept on choosing love over fear. She kept on choosing, okay, how am I going to show up for mankind? How am I going to show up for humanity? And I understand there's a lot of other stuff and mixed things about how I saw someone said that her energy was working with the shadow government and all that, and a lot. And you know, I think the spiritual community almost takes it like a little bit too far, and really it doesn't feel that authentic with those messages, because we know there's a lot of negative energy in the universe. There's a lower vibrational frequency. There's lower beings in the universe. We understand there's a whole force of nature of the forgetting. There's a darker frequency but I don't even like saying the word dark, because we come from darkness. Everything good is in the darkness. So let's backtrack and not use that word. Let's say a lower vibrational force in the universe. Yes, there is that. But we also have to realize that there's a lot of, we are souls living a human experience, and we're not all going to be perfect. And, you know, with the whole COVID vaccine thing that she was representing or promoting, she was probably told by people she actually trusted and thought she could trust that she should be pushing this. And she didn't question it, which maybe, yes, that was her fault. Maybe she should have questioned it. But there's so many times and so many moments that I even said, maybe, you know, every soul, it's either what's your path of your least resistance, what's your path of least resistance. All that. Like, I always listen to Abraham Hicks, and they were saying that it's the path of least resistance, but that might not be the same path for that individual, for that soul's journey, path of least resistance. So I just want to say that being said, that we all make mistakes as a human being, and to look at, you know, the negative and the bad that she's done, and not say all the good she has done, that really makes me angry. It makes me ask any human being who's doing that maybe they should ask themselves, because they need to reflect. They need to reflect on why that is triggering them, because you should also hold the energy that she did so much. She wrote a song and she heard Whitney Houston sing it. She made $10 million off of that, and she put it into black neighborhoods. That's what she did. She had an imagination library where many, many books were sent to children so they could read, so they could be educated, because there is a system, especially in America, where the school system has failed many, many people, and mainly black people or darker skin complexion. So this is where she was doing so much good for humanity and for mankind. And let me circle back to the reading. So why this is such an important thing, and why I brought up all the stuff that's happening in the US, the killings, the stuff that's happening with Nolan Wells, with Carmelo Anthony, with the hangings that are happening in the US, also what's happening with ICE, what they did to many souls. ICE has killed many souls, many humans, to all the stuff that's happening on other parts of the planet, Sudan, Congo, Palestine, the earthquakes, the fires, the floods, everything. It is reflecting back to us. It is mirroring back to us how we need to move as human beings. This is not just a collective decision. This is such an individual choice, and how we move and how we choose and how we treat one another, how we treat ourselves, is so important. So with Dolly, and she even came in saying, anybody, please ask her, hey Dolly, can I get some guidance? Because she's there for you. So maybe meditate on Dolly, meditate on some energy, get some guidance from her. She is here for us, for humanity. So she made a sacrifice to leave planet Earth earlier than she even planned, because she knew her soul was going to ripple through the collective as a reminder how to be, how to show up, how to embody a certain energy, what kind of mindset to have, what kind of attitude. Dream big, treat each other as kindness, see each other as all equal. This is how she moved. She loved people. She loved humanity. She loved animals. She loved nature. She treated it with respect. She gave back so much. She even said, if you don't even have money, you can give back with loving, with feeling, with that energy, with that frequency. So it's all about that. And sorry, I know I went completely off, and I was going to talk more about the eclipse and the Stargates and Know Thyself and the Himalayas Stargate, and I'm about to just turn this video off and do another one too. But I was just going with what was coming up, because I'm just feeling like there's a lot of heavy energy in the cosmos, and I know people are going through it, and I want to come on here and say you are not alone. We are all in this together, and I am praying for a better world, for a deeper connection with mankind, for this greater understanding that we all see each other as oneness and unity and harmony. And I pray that we can begin treating each other, because I think Mother Gaia is asking us to. She's really asking us, just similar with Dolly. This is all connected. Souls are honestly sacrificing, I feel like, their life, which is so sad to say, because there's all these people who just now passed with this flood, and there's so many other disasters happening on planet Earth, wars, killings, violence. It's so horrible. People, mental illness, people not being able to eat, pay their bills. There's so much happening on our planet right now, but it's also all connected. And that's why I keep, you know, people ask me that I'm all over the place or pick a lane to be in. And I'm like, no, like, yes, I'm all about the Stargate energy, but I'm going to keep speaking up for humanity, for mankind, what is happening in politics, what is happening in our world, what is happening in the spiritual realm, because it's all connected. It's all mirroring back what is happening. So I think this is just such an important reminder for people to understand that it's all connected. I'm sorry, but it is. It is all connected. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great evening. And yes, tomorrow's the eclipse. I'm gonna film a few more videos about the eclipse, so stay tuned. And please comment down below where you're from, any questions, any video ideas you want me to film. Okay,